heroes tonight. We will fly above the sky. We are heroes tonight.
What's up, everybody? This is Josh, aka RockinRaynor, and today we're gonna go ahead and do something a little bit different with our drafting. The draft itself is gonna go the same, but I'm gonna change stuff up a little bit as far as the gameplay. But let's get to the draft first. Everything's gonna be pretty much the same for that. So one thing that I have been hearing a lot about and seeing a ton of that I really want to try is these five color green decks where you basically just grab Manolith and you take all the best cards of the pack. So outside of taking Manolith, we could, I don't think Hollow One is very good in limited. Dunes of the Dead is not great. Supreme Will, I think, is probably the best card in the pack that I would probably look to take if I wasn't going to go for something crazy like the Manolith. But I think we're going to go ahead and take it, and then we'll just look to take all the best cards that we can and see how that turns out. If you've been watching the Pro Tour at all, you'll see there's been some really fun decks being drafted, as well as in the GPs. So let's try this. Alright, so like I was saying, typically the big green decks, or the big 5-color decks, are base green. So Ronus' Last Stand is definitely right up our alley. Another card to look at is something like Rampaging Hippo, Quarry Beetle. I'm not really excited about the rest of these cards. Unsummon is good. Countervailing Winds is just not exciting enough to take here. Gilded Celadon is good, but there's a ton of really good 5-drops. So I'm going to take Ronus' Last Stand here and see where that takes us. So 5-4 on turn 2 can just be game over anyway, so why not? Alright, so Hope Tender, this is very good. It's able to untap your lands so that you're able to ramp up to big spells. It helps so that you can, untap whatever color so that you can get stuff going. Other than that, I do like Unquenchable Thirst. I think it's much better in this format than people thought it was going to be. The deserts are very good compared to where I thought they would be. Torment of Venom is also... It's a decent one, but you're spending 4 mana to do 3 damage basically, so it's not quite what we want. Let's head towards green here. We were already looking at being base green anyway with the Manolith pick, so these first 2 picks are just really sending us right where we want to be. Alright, so here I've heard that Imminent Doom is not as bad as it looks on face. I still haven't done it, so I'm not sold. I do like Eternal of Harsh Truths. If you're looking to do like a big green deck, a lot of times you're gonna end up in green blue. Otherwise, Ifnir Deadlands is very good. It's gonna look to go late game a little bit bigger, which green does really well in this format. And Ifnir Deadlands is just one of the best deserts you can take, so I think I'm going to take that. I do like the Aven of Enduring Hope, but let's try out the Ifnir Deadlands. Deserts do matter in this format, and this is one of the best spell deserts out there. Alright, so here we could look to take another desert in Desert of the Mindful. There's not a lot of exciting cards in here. Unsummon is fine. I think I'm just going to go ahead and grab the Beneath the Sands. If we are looking to go multicolored, where we can just kind of play anything that we want, Beneath the Sands is going to be helping us for that. It does cycle if we don't need to use it, so that's another good reason to take it. Otherwise, there's nothing that's super powerful in this pack. Again, Unsummon is good. Appeal to Authority is quite good as well, if we are looking to do a green-white beatdown kind of deck. Alright, so here we could take another Manolith, which might be getting I mean, we probably won't need to do too much as far as mana fixers after this point, and we can just start picking up all the good gold cards and anything that looks worthwhile. Otherwise, I like Ruin Rat. I like the Desert of the Glorified. I'm gonna grab another Manolith here. So one thing, this might not be catching on MTGO or like at your local shop yet, but Manolith was taken very highly at the Pro Tour for decks just like this. So here we could look to take the Traveler's Amulet. Again, it helps us fix our mana. The format is generally much slower than it was before. Otherwise, these deserts are both good to take. I think I'm just gonna take a desert first. We probably don't need the Traveler's Amulet at this moment. We don't have anything that we're splashing for yet. I'm gonna take the Desert of the True. I do like white in this format. And it pays off because Sidewinder Naga is good with deserts. So I'll take that. Here, Solitary Camel is actually pretty decent with the desert. We're not looking to be a cycling deck, so Hollow One is just not really a thing. I think I'm just going to take the Solitary Camel. Camel also buys us time if we're looking to ramp into some big stuff. So far the packs are going fairly well, I would say. Here we could look, either take another desert or a camel. I think we'll take the desert. The camels come around, so we could probably find another one in the next pack. Here, not real excited by any of these cards. I might just take the Kenray Eternal. It's 2-drop. 2-drops are pretty important. Otherwise, Dutiful Servants would be it's a decent card just because we're looking to slow it down. We don't have that big payoff yet though. So here's another camel. We'll take the camel. Jiro's Renunciation is probably not too bad, but so we're looking to pick up some big cards in the next pack. I'm not a real big fan of Graven Abomination, so I'll just take the Titan. Yeah, we can get a Abomination anyway. Not real excited by it though. Alright, so Driven to Despair is very good. The first side, creatures you control gain trample, and whenever it deals combat damage to a player, draw a card. And a lot of times you'll be able to play Driven and Despair at the same time. So until end of turn, creatures you control gain Menace, and whenever this deals combat damage to a player, that player discards a card. So you're able to just, for 4 mana, all your guys get Menace. You get a card every time you deal damage and make them discard. So it's just huge card advantage. We'll definitely take that. Otherwise, there's some nice deserts in this pack. A Cursed Horde would be decent. We're not really into zombies at this moment though. Rona's Stalwart is very good. I like picking up the 2-drops in this format. Scrounger of Souls is fine. It's decent. Dauntless Aven is very good. And I still like Aven, but we're gonna take Driven to Despair. Overwhelming Splendor. That card is pretty decent. I did draft a deck with it last night, and my first game I kicked butt with it, but then I just ramped up to nothing and died in my other 2 games, so it didn't work out so well. Sifter Worm is actually one of the biggest payoffs in this deck, so if we can get another one of these, it'd be huge. It literally is huge. It's a 7/7 with trample. When it enters battlefield, scry 3 and reveal the top card of your library. So if you have a bunch of other large spells in your deck, you do get to gain a bunch of life from it. So we'll take the Sifter Worm here. And remember, we're not solid into another color yet. Rampaging Hippo, I'm a big fan of. Swarm Intelligence, I think that's probably more of a constructed or funsy kind of card. It's not real good in limited, if you ask me. Otherwise, I like Wretched Camel. Camel would be very good with our deserts. I don't believe that we are looking to do Sunset Pyramid, at least not yet. If it comes back around, we'd love to, but it's unlikely that I'll wheel. So we'll take the Hippo. Alright, so here, I think I'm just going to go ahead and take the desert. We're base green, so it's good to have a green desert. Torment of Scarabs, I think, is pretty cool in theory, but it might be better in more of a slower setup, maybe like sealed rather than draft. I'm just going to grab the desert here. All right, so I'll take the Ronus of Stalwart here. I think just having a early 2-drop to muck up the board is going to be important for us. There's another desert. We don't have any other blue at this moment, but Unsummon is good. Blur Blades is fine. Unconventional Tactics is great in a zombie deck. Without weakness, I think it'd totally be serviceable, but we don't need it right now. There's another Manolith, but right now we don't have enough stuff to ramp into, and we've got 2 Manoliths already, a Beneath the Sands, a Hope Tender. So we've got a decent amount of cards there. We just need some more early drops. Alright, so Steward of Solidarity is a card I'm a big fan of. You know, we're not... Right now, we aren't seeing a ton of gold cards that we're really excited to take. Bloodwire Entity is not the gold card that I'm excited to go for. Steward is very good. It can just kind of muck up the ground. We're not necessarily playing this Kenra Eternal anyway. So let's grab the Steward. Maybe we can wheel this Sidewinder Naga. Alright, so a bunch of deserts. Let's take a Desert of the True here. It is looking like we're going to be playing some white. So having a on-color desert is going to be important for us. Otherwise, I'm not real excited by any of these in this deck. Harrier Naga is fine. I don't know if I want to take another Desert of the True. You know, the 3/3 for 3, it just comes down and it can help stabilize the board for a little bit. So that's what I'm going to go with here. I think. Yeah, I'm going to take it. Alright, there's the Aven. Big fan of the Aven. Definitely want to see it here. Don't necessarily need another camel. At this point, we're pretty solid in the 3-drop spot, so something's got to be pretty worthwhile. Even with its evasion, with flying, and being able to gain 3 life is pretty awesome, so we'll take that. And now I'll take a Dutiful Servant. Not sure if I'm going to play it. There's a ton of unsummons going around, but there hasn't been a ton of payoffs. There was the gold card, but outside of that, there hasn't been a ton of blue worthwhile spells that we've passed. Speaking of which, Swarm Intelligence is not very worthwhile if you ask me. So right now we're at 11 creatures, 5 spells. Trying to decide between the Renunciation or the Eternal. I'm going to grab the Eternal. You know, we still might be playing... I mean, we're looking pretty much Abzan at this moment. I'm just going to take the Scavenger Grounds. I don't think we need another Beneath the Sands. We've got ways to ramp right now. I'll take the Without Weakness. So we haven't really seen a whole lot of stellar cards outside of some of our green picks, and this actually works out real well. I do like Stir the Sands a ton, but I'm going to take the Channeler Initiate here. Channeler Initiate also helps us with ramping. So if we see something like a Sandworm Convergence would probably be the best card for this pack or for this deck right now. We've got a ton of ramp. We've got a lot of fixing. So we can pretty much take any big bomb at this point. But Channeler Initiate just helps that even more. Crocodile of the Crossing I'm a big fan of. Not exactly... We're not a cycling deck, so Drake Haven doesn't pay off for us. We're just looking like we're solid green right now. We have the ability to splash if we need to, but it's just not really coming to this spot, which is tough sometimes. You may think that you're headed in one direction, and then it just never really happens. Outside of that, I wouldn't mind picking up a Stinging Shot on the wheel. Evolving Wilds is good, but we've got plenty of mana fixers. I don't mind True Heart Twins if that comes back around. Alright, so we're looking for top end. We're looking for some big cards at the back side here. Trial of Solidarity. It's not as good in this deck, but it's still very good. I do also like Gustwalker. So Descent Lead, Trial of Solidarity, Final Reward. Those are all where we're looking here. It could be possible that we just don't even want these manoliths. What if we did that? What would I do? I think I'd probably take the trial no matter what. Trial's just very good. We're still able to curve out with a bunch of small guys. I really hate passing this Gustwalker, but I think trial's just too good. Alright, so I like Impeccable Timing. I like Quarry Hauler. We have pretty much like no removal, so we might just need to take the Impeccable Timing here. Yeah, as much as I'd like to have a Quarry Hauler in this deck, I think Impeccable Timing is just too good to miss right now. We don't have anything else going on. Fanbearer, that could work. It just gives us something to do with our mana later in the game. It shuts down big creatures. Yeah, let's take the Fanbearer. I don't want to play Dutiful Servants, I know. Wandering Death here could be good. We're not playing a zombie themed deck. We don't want Watchers of the Dead. We're not looking at doing any red early drops, so I think Wandering Death is going to be the card here. Another Fanbearer looks great. I could totally understand going for the Red Crop Spearmaster, but I think another Fanbearer will do. Alright, so Synchronized Stripe, Quarry Hauler. Both look great. We don't have a ton of combat tricks, and Synchronized Strike is probably one of the better ones. I think I'm going to go for that here. We're looking like we're just a low-to-the-ground aggro deck here, which is kind of crazy after drafting the Manaliths thinking that we were going to be splashing a ton. I'm real close to doing Final Reward, but I think I'm just going to go ahead and take another early drop. We might not even be playing these later picks. I'll take the Cheetah here. We're not a 3/5 5-drop kind of deck right now. It's definitely changed from what the initial thought was with the first pick Manalith, but the big bombs just never really came to us, I feel. None of these cards really matter. So, Benefaction of Ronus, reveal the top 5 cards. You may put a creature card and or an enchantment card from among them in your hand. That might not be too bad. If we can get into an enchantment of Trial and... yeah. We might think about playing that one. Alright, am I gonna play Time to Reflect? Nope. I don't need the planes though. Alright, so yeah, this deck definitely changed from what I expected it to be. So right now, the Sifter Worm might not be the best card for this deck, but it's still just a very good card. And there's going to be times where you're going to flood out. So I'm going to keep it. Yeah, I like my top end. All these cards serve a good purpose. But we could go ahead and bring in the Cheetah. Otherwise, this Benefaction might be worthwhile. So let's see. Is Wonder and Death worthwhile? We've got a Beneath the Sands. We've got a Channeler Initiate. That doesn't quite turn it on. Yeah, I don't know that we need Wander in Death. That might just be a better sideboard card. And then at this point we could look to bring in the Cheetah. I'm really tempted to do the Benefaction. Being able to find our Trial could be real important. We could do this without weakness. It's got cycling on it, so if we don't run into our black source, we'll just cycle it. Yeah, because I'm looking at just doing 16 lands here. All right, so we definitely want to play these 3 deserts. Do we need to play... I mean, I don't think that If Near Deadlands is going to come up. We could play the Desert of the Glorified, though. Otherwise, just go ahead and play the Scavenger Grounds, I guess. Yeah. Because, I mean, we're only playing 2 black cards. Otherwise, we bring in a Manolith. I don't think that's worthwhile, though. If we bring in the Manolith, we're doing it to fix colors, and we ended up not getting all of our payoff cards that we expected. So, I mean, maybe other people are drafting that deck where you just take all the best stuff and then find yourself a Manolith. So we'll run these 3 deserts. I am gonna run not the Deadlands, but the Desert of the Glorified, and then we'll go ahead and add. So this will give us 8 forests, 6 plains. We probably want one more. And at this point, yeah, I'm not going to play the desert. Being able to search up the swamp seems more worthwhile to me. All right, so now you're going to see, I'm going to try something different with the gameplay. I'm going to add it all together, and the gameplay I'm actually going to do at a faster speed this time, because a lot of times it seems like the gameplay videos, the views really drop off. And trust me, I don't always want to watch an hour and a half to 2 hours worth of gameplay from limited, but I do want to see how the deck performs. So I'm probably going to go ahead and speed it up, set it to some music. If there's some really tricky moments, I'm going to try to, you know, slow it down and talk through my play. But hopefully you guys enjoy this. Please let me know below what you think about it. This is going to be the very first time that I've ever done it, so I'd love to get the feedback. But anyway, thank you everybody for checking this out, and I'll see you in the games. Later. Alright, so here's the wrap-up. The deck played poorly. We did go at 3 games for most of them. I think what happened is we just, our initial... That's why you should never marry yourself to a initial pick. The Manolith, it was a good idea, and we were looking to go into that, but we just never really found the top-end pieces. We ended up, I feel like as the games played out, the lack of removal, just any removal, I don't think we necessarily needed a lot. Even if we didn't have removal, I think some combat tricks would have been nice. So the deck just, it didn't play out the way I thought it might. We had 19 1, 2, and 3 drops, so you would think that we were gonna flood the board, and things just didn't work out that way. I never actually drew the Benefaction of Rona, so I never got to see how it worked out. Trial of Solidarity, so many times I wanted it, and it never came up. So that was tough. Solitary Camel, I thought, actually overperformed. It did really good. Ronus' Last Stand, it's good. I think anyone should play it. Absolutely. Yeah, we found a lot of the good green rampy spells, but we really had a hard time finding stuff to ramp into. I feel like if I knew I was going to head into white, I really would have loved to have about 2 more of these Avens. Those would have been great. Sifter Worm was good when we hit it. Hippo was fine, but it died. We had these higher spells, which, even if you're going to try to go low to the ground, you still want to have those other spells to do. Yeah, it played out a bit different than I thought it was going to. Like I said, we were looking to be rampy, and we ended up finding nothing to ramp into, really. Even if we were playing the Manoliths, it wasn't going to change too much of when we were able to play Sifter Worm, just based on when we drew it. Rampage and Hippo, we did get to play this on like turn 5, so we got to play a little bit earlier, but things just didn't play out very well there. Like I said, a deck like this, probably a few more combat tricks would have been even better than just simple removal. We had the fan bearers, but they never came up when we wanted them to. Overall, the deck just didn't play out great, you know, and sometimes that happens. So hopefully you enjoyed this. If you made it all the way to the end here, if you did, let me know what you think about the new format where I'm trying to have things, I guess, a little bit faster, so you don't have to see all the downtime. Like, I don't know if you were watching the clock in that last match, but yeah, we sat there for a really long time. I think we were at least 10 minutes ahead of our opponent. And the tough thing is when you're recording that, it's just dead time. So that's the kind of stuff that I'm trying to look to kill with this format. So let me know what you think. I'm gonna try to, you know, our last draft went 3-0. This one went 0-3. It kind of happens. If you've drafted enough, you've found some good ones and you found some stinkers. But anyway, thanks for watching. I'm Josh, aka RockinRaynor. And if you get a chance, go ahead and check out my Twitch channel. It's at twitch.tv/RockinRaynor. You can see when I play. Typically, I do limited and standard, late nights, Tuesday, Thursday, and weekends. So I'll see you again. Have a good one.
We are heroes tonight.